The bird flu virus follows us into the new year with a new target, the pets in our homes.
WYFR reporter Alyssa Kelly talks with professionals about keeping your furry friend safe from the dangerous virus.
One wildlife expert tells me the bird flu has been in North America since 2021, but now the concern grows beyond birds into other animals.
It's not unusual or surprising that we're seeing these cases again. The concern is that we're seeing it just affect a wider variety of species, including more domestic species.
According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, since 2022, the Animal and Plant Health Inspection Service and the United States Department of Agriculture has reported bird flu virus detections in more than 200 mammals.
The concern with avian influenza is that it's really good at mutating, and so it can change how it behaves and how it transmits and affects different animals.
Stephanie Lewis states cats are more at risk than dogs when it comes to contracting the bird flu. Recently, a brand of cat food was recalled because of contamination.
There have been a number of cases of cats ingesting raw meat and raw dairy products that have been unpasteurized and or uncooked, and they have contracted avian influenza and actually unfortunately died from that disease.
Lewis tells me it's important to remain cautious to keep both you and your pet safe. She explains there is no specific treatment for animals because it's a viral disease.
We're recommending that people actually keep their pets indoors. So any kind of outdoor cats, definitely keep them inside. If you do have pets, like dogs that need to go outside, to keep them on a leash.
Karen Herklotz, the director at Hoo Haven Rehabilitation Center, agrees.
If at all possible, all dogs should have a fenced-in backyard. Cats. We actually, Hoo Haven has 2 cats. All cats should be indoors.
If your pet is showing signs of fever, low appetite, reddened or inflamed eyes, discharge from the eyes and nose, difficulty breathing, or neurological signs, immediately contact your veterinarian.
Thank you, Alyssa. The CDC notes signs of bird flu are also common signs of respiratory diseases, and a veterinarian will likely run tests to help determine the cause.